First order of business is approval of the agenda. Take it everybody's had a chance to review that. Do we have a motion to accept the agenda?
I make a motion to accept the agenda.
Do we have a second? I'll second it. Any discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Next on the agenda is recognition.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right, first of all, we want to recognize the students who have had their drawings in the Kingsport Times over the past month. And from Jonesville Middle, we have Mercedes Baumgardner, Ian Bradley, Lane Brooks, Tatum Cox, Jade Duvall, Lindsay Eldridge, Sean Hampton, Lucas Parsons, Kylie Phillips, Stacy Powland, and Jasmine Smith. These students have received a recognition with a certificate that was sent to Jonesville Middle and that was presented at the school.
Schools with highest percentage of attendance, Mr. Austin.
The schools with the highest level of percentage of attendance this month. For the month of May, and last month, just as a reminder, we had Pennington with the highest attendance, Rose Hill with the second highest attendance. And for the month of May, we have Jonesville with the highest level of attendance, and the trophy will be passed from Pennington to Jonesville, and Elydale was the next highest. And those percentages, Jonesville was 94.8, and Elydale was 94.7.
Next on the agenda is public comment. Anyone wants to come forward and address the board? I'll remind you, you've got 5 minutes to speak. Don't defame anybody, go after anybody personally, name names, but say whatever else you want to, I guess. Anybody else have any comments? No public comment? Next, we'll go to the consent agenda.
I move that we accept the consent agenda of the approval of minutes and approval of claims and expenditures.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, reports of the board. Anybody have any reports they want to make?
I will.
Okay.
Last Friday, I attended the Virginia School Boards Association School Law Conference. Sessions I was able to attend before needing to leave to get to Lehigh's graduation were developing and implementing a memorandum of understanding for school resource officers, Conflict of Interest Act, and the Every Student Succeeds Act, and a couple of FYIs on the conflict of interest. We will still be filing on paper with the school board clerk, and effective July 1, we will be filing just once a year. In other words, we will file June 15th, and then we'll need to file January 15th, but then after that it will be January to January. And a gift under $20 is not considered a gift. And if you have any questions, you probably need to just contact the Virginia Conflict of Interest and Ethics Advisory Council.
Okay. Anyone else? Next are reports of the division superintendent.
As you're aware, we've been working through school presentations for the better part of the spring, and we have 3 that will be presented this evening. And just to provide you some general information about our schools. And first up, we have Thomas Walker, of course, the principal, Mr. Ron Early, and we have the assistant principal, Mr. Long, here this evening. So if you guys will come up.
First off, I tell people when Thomas Walker, I said, we're either the first school in the state or the last one. It depends on which way you're going out of the state of Virginia. But we're home of the pioneers, and we adopted the motto, committed to excellence. And the philosophy and vision of Thomas Walker High School. Thomas Walker High School is committed to ensuring that all students acquire the knowledge and skills necessary to live as productive and informed citizens, as well as successful lifelong learners in the ever-changing society, providing a high-quality instruction program that will educate and empower all the students to discover and create their own unique, productive places in our vibrant world. It is the goal of Thomas Walker High School to prepare our students to be productive and responsible citizens. We believe that all students should be encouraged to seek a commitment to excellence through academic, social, emotional, physical, and aesthetic experiences. Achieving esteem in these areas will contribute to the success as we continue our advancement into a more global and technological society. The Scripps of Thomas Walker were one of 2 high schools in the county of Lee. We're located east of Ewing, about 1 mile and about 3 miles west of Rose Hill. We're located in the westernmost part of Lee County. We border Clayton County and Hancock County, Tennessee, as well as Bell and Harlan counties, Kentucky. Again, like this, we're the first high school in the state of Virginia traveling west to east. We receive students primarily from Edendale Elementary, a small percentage of transfer students from Jonesville Middle School. The main building was built in 1940. It's a combined Rose Hill High School and Ewing High School. It was remodeled and enlarged in 1959, and an addition built on in 1971. It's basically, the community is composed of the towns of Rose Hill and Ewing. It's basically comprised mostly of blue collar workers, farmers, factory workers. It used to be miners and professionals. According to Lena Wisco, 63% of the families live below the property level. Notable achievements. This is at this time when we made this, we was fully accredited. The following year, we got in trouble in English and we went under warning. And after this year, I like to report we're back fully accredited. Professional development, instructional, and consultation team, we had the ICT program, scheduled school-wide professional development days, departmental meetings, scheduled development per department, first aid, CPR training, we used Simple K-12, and district provided PD for data desegregation and partner for results. Clubs and organizations, we got JROTC, the International Travel Program. We just had a group back in the spring go to Puerto Rico. The Veda Club, the Spanish Club, the Science Club. The Science Club is one that went to Puerto Rico. A.Lynn with Holton's Governor School, One Act Plays, Scholastic Bowl, FBLA. Of course, in the athletics, you got football, cross country, volleyball, basketball, golf, track and field, softball, and baseball. I would like to report that we did have a student from Thomas Walker to win the state forensics meet, and I think that's the first time we've ever had a student to win
No,
the
it's not.
state champion.
Second.
Second. Thank you for correcting. Who was first?
She's an Appalachian author, Sharon, somebody help me out. No, I don't know, it was in the paper, I don't remember. Sorry, I had to call Carol Skeet.
Like Thomas Walker, it's a small community school, you know, all the students basically know all the students, the faculty gets along well. I kid them all the time, every time I talk to somebody, I'm talking to somebody's cousin. But, you know, it reminds me of the high school that I went to, and we had graduation, I got to thinking during graduation, you know, I did this 41 years ago. And it's came a long way, but it's still a small community school. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Next up, we have St. Charles, and that'll be presented by Principal Brian Dean.
Good evening, Dr. Austin, Mr. Hines, members of the board. With me, I have Amber Huff, who is our reading specialist, and she's also the co-chair of the committee that developed this presentation, along with Vonda Dye, and I'm going to ask her if she will present this.
All right, a little history about our school. It was built in the 1930s. The town of St. Charles thrived due to the surrounding mining camps and communities, and in its prime, it actually held a movie theater, a bowling alley, grocery stores, and it was truly a hub of Lee County. Now that the coal industry is no longer a thriving force, we're a community that's lived with a health center, or a health clinic, a post office, a school, and a community center. We serve approximately 160 students from Head Start and pre-K through grade 5. We strive to provide a safe, innovative, and respectful learning environment for our students. Our faculty meets the requirements for a highly qualified status as mandated by No Child Left Behind, and our support staff is also highly qualified. These are some of the accolades that we have received over the past few years, and most of which have been during the tenure of Mr. Dean. We've received the Governor's Award for Educational Excellence in 2008, 9, and 10. We have been Title I Distinguished School 2005, 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, 13, and 14. In 2011, we received the Virginia Board of Education Excellence Award, and in 2012, we received the Virginia Board of Education Competence Excellence Award. In 2015, we received the Student Academic Achievement Grant, which was $17,000 in award money that we were able to spend due to our status as a Title I Distinguished School in 2014. And you can see here some of the things we were able to purchase. We have a fresh fruit and vegetable program, which is sponsored by the USDA, and it provides our students with a daily fresh fruit and vegetable snack. And that's something that we all look forward to. Data disaggregation is all-inclusive in our school. At the beginning of each year, we sit down with SOL test data and we break it down, and we figure out the areas where we need improvement. And this is an example. Our custodian was on the math committee in 2014, and he took some of the problems that we were facing on the SOL test, and he placed those questions that he changed monthly and put them places where the kids could see them. This is one of the water machine questions that changed. In December, we hosted our 3rd annual reading night where we had over 500 parents and community members that came, and we fed them a full Christmas meal. We had an informational session on reading, we had games, we had book giveaways, as well as some student and teacher performances, which were quite comical. And just this past Friday, we had our 18th Earth Day celebration that was sponsored by Lone Mountain. Community commitment is so strong in St. Charles that even though Lone Mountain's parent company was going through bankruptcy, they still felt the need and the dedication to fulfill the field day that our students are so accustomed to. As you can see, our faculty and staff work together closely with our community to ensure the success of our students.
Next up, we have Rose Hill. And presenting, we have Ms. Tina Dean and Whitney Erie. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, so I don't guess I need to introduce us again. Good afternoon. I'm Ms. Tina Dean, and I teach 4th grade reading, language arts, and Virginia studies at Rose Hill.
And I'm Whitley Erie. I teach 3rd grade reading and language arts at Rose Hill as well. Our school motto is Learning for Life.
And at Rose Hill, currently our principal is Miss Laura Lawson.
Rose Hill Elementary is situated on 8.5 acres at the foothills of the White Rocks. Our school ranges from grades Head Start through 4th grade. We have, it's a 1-story building with 2 mobile units in the back, one being a Head Start classroom and the other being my 3rd grade classroom.
After 2012, when they did the restructuring of the schools, our enrollment increased by 34%. So currently we have 260 students in our Head Start through 4th grades, and in the last 2 consecutive academic school years, we've received the attendance award multiple times. And in the fall of 2014, after 2 years of being in school improvement, Rose Hill became fully accredited.
The mission statement of Rose Hill is very student-centered, and it promotes our motto, lifelong learning. It is to provide a safe, nurturing environment that educates and inspires students to become lifelong learners and encourages intellectual, social, and physical growth in a diverse and changing society.
And our vision statement also reflects our motto, that we want our students to be lifelong learners and always pursue learning. So our vision is, and purpose of Rose Hill is to establish a learning environment in which all students are safe, nurtured, and encouraged to become lifelong learners.
Our faculty and staff at Rose Hill is very supportive, very close-knit, like family. We were fortunate to get another reading specialist this year. Also, we welcomed a new guidance counselor, Ms. Jamie Baker. All of our faculty and staff strive for student academic successes.
And these pictures were taken when we did the advanced ed review. So some of these positions have actually changed in the last year. Mr. Long probably notices he's still up there. He left us to go to Thomas Walker. And so in 1st grade, Miss Yuri still listed in 1st grade, but really she's in 3rd grade now. And Miss Young, listed in 3rd grade, became one of our reading specialists. And we lost Miss Jackson. She also left us for Thomas Walker. And we got Miss Baker, which has been a great fit for our school. And then most of those other positions have stayed the same.
Even though Rose Hill is a very small rural area, we still have multiple resources that we use throughout the school year. One of the main ones being a gentleman from Jamestown, Virginia. He actually comes down and tells our students about the history of Jamestown and gives them other information. We also have like county resources, like the Sheriff's Department that comes, the volunteer fire and rescue. Also, we have programs such as Booster Ball for basketball, cheerleading. And then we have a lot of parent and community involvement all throughout the year.
And here's some pictures of our community and parent involvement. Most of these pictures were taken when we asked community members and parents to come in and read to our students. The bottom left-hand corner picture is our visitor from Jamestown who brought artifacts to share with the kids and did a lot of role-playing with them about life in Jamestown. And in conclusion, our school, we have been really successful this year, and it's because we all work together, and it's a great learning environment for the kids, and the faculty really comes together to make it happen. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, providing a general information about the enrollment updates. From April 29th until May 31st, we have an enrollment on May 31st of 3,048, which is less than what we had at the end of April, which was 3,064. So in the month of May, we had a reduction of 16 students. Comparing that to May of last year, we had 3,098, which is 50 less students than what we had this time last year. So ongoing discussions related to that. Next thing is direct deposit, providing some general information. As of August 1st, our 12-month employees will be receiving their checks via direct deposit, not just in Lee County banks, but at any bank pretty much anywhere. So our 11-month staff will receive direct deposits on September 1st, and 10-month, everybody as of October 1st will be on direct deposit. So that's the direction we're moving away from cutting checks for payroll. Next thing, just providing you an update. Summer work schedule. We polled our staff last week regarding the difference between working 4 10-hour days versus 5 8-hour days. This policy would be considered a superintendent's regulation, so it's something that we'll take a look at. And staff has recommended to the tune of almost 80% said that they would prefer working 4 10-hour days to 5 8-hour days. From an operational standpoint, of course, not having to cool all the buildings for 5 days a week and going to 4 days a week That'll save us some money on the operational side. However, we're adjusting for the fact that we're providing lunches at the schools this summer. We will staff that appropriately, and also we are operating summer school at both Lehigh and at Thomas Walker. So we will make sure that we have those staffs covered as well. Have given discretion to the buildings that if there are particular weeks that they have activities, floors to finish, that kind of stuff, they can stagger their staff. So some staff works Monday through Thursday, some staff works Tuesday through Friday. So that, again, is an ongoing discussion. But as of Monday, we will be operating 4 10s. Here at the school board office, we will be working from 7 to 5 and shut down on Friday. Of course, staff will be available as needed for crisis type situations over the summer. We have designated people have my cell phone number, so we'll be available as needed. One thing I wanted to add real quickly, went to both high school graduations, and it's incredible the programs that the staff put on. This is not on the agenda, but the things that our staff pulled together, and I want to say what our students have accomplished is just astounding. When you read some of the honors and some of the things that they've accomplished in the 4 years or 5 years that they've been in those schools, is just a remarkable indication of the dedication of our teachers and our administration, and I'll say all of our staff. So that was just an incredible opportunity for me to participate in that. I'm glad to be part of the community. Been here almost 2 months, and just feel very blessed to be part of this.
Next on the agenda is action and discussion items. Do we have a motion for approval of the consolidated grant application for 2016-2017?
I move that we approve the consolidated grant application for 2016-2017.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have some discussion? You want to address it now?
Providing information, this is just a consolidated grant for a Title I, Title II, and Title VI funds. It's standard operating procedure, but this secures funding for next year for those positions.
Any other discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, ask for a motion for approval of a Head Start COLA grant for 2015-2016. Do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
As far as discussion, the COLA is a cost of living adjustment that is provided as part of this grant. Dr. Adams has done a good job of facilitating this, and you'll notice it's 2015, 2016. This will be for next school year, but it ties back to how federal monies are handled with the award year versus the actual fiscal year, so that's why it's set up that way.
Any other discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Do we have a motion for approval of an extended school year, June 13th through the 30th, 2016?
I make a motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Information on that is this is to account for our students who will be attending summer school. This provides them the opportunity for credit recovery that's being offered at both Thomas Walker and Lehigh.
All in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. You want to discuss the year-end funds?
As an update to the board, of course, you're aware that we approved the FY17 budget on May 20th, and that's been submitted to the county. As far as FY16, the year that we're currently living, we closed that out on June 30th. To that point, we have some funds where we have underspent our expenditures, which means, for example, fuel has not cost as much as we budgeted, so we have some money there. And we have close to $400,000 that administration is recommending that we spend approximately $90,000 to purchase a bus. We have 2 in the next fiscal year, so we're making some progress towards a replacement cycle for buses. The other thing would be that we look at taking the first steps of a one-to-one initiative at the high schools. With that intent, we have a solid infrastructure here in Lee County. You all have done an incredible job building an infrastructure from school board support down to the technology staff and administration support. We have a solid infrastructure at all of our schools. That being said, in order to access that infrastructure and change how we provide instruction, administration is recommending that we purchase Chromebooks for students in the coming fiscal year, probably in January. To begin that process, what administration is recommending for year-end funds is that we go ahead and purchase Chromebooks for all instructional teachers who have a classroom, And to that end, we will be working on professional development this fall to get those teachers to the point where we start teaching differently than we have. So when we provide that information to students, provide those devices to students, we've already adapted our instruction to that. So that expenditure will be close to $90,000 also, and it fits well within what I want to say the technology plan is and the overall plan for the schools. So the last thing that there's another approximately $120,000 that will be left out of that. What we are recommending, and I'm working with Richmond currently, is that we put that money in a capital reserve account that was established with school board action last month and has been sent to the Board of Supervisors for action. The intent of those funds is to be used to do a facility study, which you approved the RFP last month, the request for proposals. Those funds will be used to get that started, as well as to partner with the Department of Mines, Mineral, and Energy to do an energy audit of our current facilities that would help us with the status of our windows, ceilings, roofs, all the exterior pieces that affect our energy consumption. So those are the three recommendations that are from administration, unless you say otherwise, that we are planning to proceed with the expenditure of these year-end funds. Not unless you, if we need action on that, you disagree with the proposal as presented by the administration, then you can of course adjust that. But it's discussion. If you all agree, of course you can discuss it. If you think that we should do something different, you can make it an action item.
Next, I'd ask for a motion to appoint 2 school board members to a team to evaluate the responses to the request for proposals for healthcare broker and consultant services. Do we have such a motion?
I make the motion for Rob Hines and Debbie Jesse to be those 2 school board members.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, ask for a motion to appoint 2 school board members on a team to evaluate responses to the request for proposal for architectural and engineering services. Do we have such a motion? I'll make a motion. I'll nominate Mike Kidwell, Pam Fannin to that board. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Do we have a motion for approval of proposed school board policy CH-BR policy development?
I'll make the motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
As far as discussion, this is clarifying some information in policy development that delineates that when Virginia School Board Association, which we subscribe to their policy services, when they say that the superintendent needs to develop regulations, that becomes a superintendent's regulation, an SR. If it says the board needs to develop regulations, then they would be a BR. So the difference between those two is the superintendent's regulations tend to be more of a procedural, day-to-day operations type of thing, whereas a board regulation tends to be more related to policy and code.
Any other discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, I'd ask for a motion for approval of proposed school board policy DB-BR budgetary procedures. Do we have a motion?
I make a motion to approve them.
Do we have a second? I'll second. Any discussion?
As far as budgetary procedures, this delineates the exact responsibilities of administration, budget designations, how we account for funds according to the Department of Education's regulations, and how we handle budget transfers. It specifies more clearly how we handle a lot of our budgetary operations.
Any other discussion?
Just, there's a little grammatical in there that I already mentioned to
Okay.
that.
So no concerns about the overall
But
thing?
nothing on the overall.
Okay.
Okay. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, I'd ask for a motion for approval of proposed school board policy FB-BR facilities plan. Do we have a motion? Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
discussion on this facilities plan, this will put into actual policy that the school board will need to maintain a 10-year facility plan, that this would be something that the board would have as an expectation of the division superintendent to maintain that. So this is something so the facilities does not become an issue for us in the foreseeable future. We develop a 10-year plan and we maintain it from an administrative standpoint, and it's something that we can budget for on an ongoing basis instead of it becoming a big thing in the short term.
Any other discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Final action item, as for approval of proposed school board policy IICA-BR, approval of field trip to CA. I don't know which one it needs. Do we have such a motion?
I make a motion.
You make the motion? I'll second it.
As far as discussion, this again clarifies a school board policy that indicates that regulations need to be developed regarding field trips. This board regulation would require action from this board to change, but it basically authorizes the superintendent to approve field trips, all field trips except for those that occur overnight. So with any field trip within the Commonwealth of Virginia, and I'm going to say into Kentucky, into Tennessee, that are not overnight trips, you are authorizing me as the division superintendent to approve those field trips.
Any other discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next on the agenda is board comments. Any of the members of the board have any comments they'd like to make?
I do have one comment. Probably most of y'all already know that Brian Dean was promoted, and yesterday at St. Charles Elementary, they had their awards day, and that was announced. It was a sad day at St. Charles Elementary yesterday. It was actually a sad day in the community of St. Charles. From what I understand, there were students, teachers, parents, grandparents that were very saddened by this, but yet on the other hand, very happy for him. To me, that tells you a lot about Brian Dean, and I'm very proud to say that that's one of my schools in my district, and I'm very proud of what you've done with that school, and I'm sure the teachers are probably a little antsy of what's going to be in place next year when you have someone such as you, Mr. Dean, that's big shoes to fill for somebody, and I just think that it's awesome that you left a community such as St. Charles and a school such as that with such great admiration and love and respect. And from what I can understand, you were a little choked up yourself, and I just think that's what I think that the principal should be like, and I thank you for that.
I want to follow up a little bit on what Mr. Austin was talking about earlier. Several members of the school board were able to attend both the Thomas Walker and Lee High graduations. Both of them were very good ceremonies, very well planned, very different ceremonies, quite frankly, just kind of opposites, but both of them were just really excellent. And it was amazing, some of the places. There's a young lady from Thomas Walker is going to be attending school in London, England next year. Just some really good things going on. So thanks to both of the principals at those schools for putting those together. Also, I wanted to mention that if you're a Lee County resident, you've heard and worried about the hospital deal, and I know there's some people in the audience that went and spoke at a meeting with some hospital folks from Richmond, I believe, dealing with the merger. I believe Melanie Jurgensen, Jill Carson, I don't know, I'm not sure who all spoke, but it seems like we're at the time where this is either going to get done or not. And it depends on this merger and what kind of language is put in that to kind of force them to get us a hospital or at least emergency room. So right now is the time to be calling your legislators and different people and keeping this thing going so it just doesn't fall by the wayside. A lot of people put a lot of work into this. It's very important to the school system, not just the overall community, but to the school system to have at least an emergency room for people that have traumatic injuries and such and need to be treated before they're sent off somewhere else. So keep that in mind too. Anybody else?
Okay. I'd like to offer my congratulations to the graduates of both of the high schools and wish them well in their future endeavors. Also, I'd like to thank the retirees for their many years of service to the students of Lee County. And also, we have some others who are leaving the county, and I thank them for their service. And I want to congratulate the students and the staff for their hard work on the SOLs and for their other studies during the year. And everyone have a restful and safe summer. I think we have some interesting things facing us in the next school year.
Anybody else? All right, next, I'd ask for a motion to go into closed session.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to go into closed session to discuss personnel, section 2.2-3711A1, student discipline, section 2.2-3711A2, and pending and threatened litigation, section 2.2-3711A7 of the Code of Virginia.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We now go into closed session.